should be a spoon right in there. You see one? Terrific. So the really neat thing about avocados, and you want to use them when they're ripe, is you're going to be able to just scoop the avocado right out and you're going to scoop it right into the blender. So please go over to the blender so you're not doing it over the floor, because you don't want to end up with your avocado on the floor. Then you're not going to be able to use it. So scoop it out, you throw it right into the blender. Now if you have a liquid measure at home, you can use that for the liquids. We didn't have one with us today, so we're just going to use the dry measures. So do what's comfortable for you. Great job. So we need a half a cup, and since we're using the same ingredients, I'm going to use the same measuring cups. So we need a half a cup of almond milk, and you want to find something unsweetened, something without sugar. All right, I'm going to dump that right in while you continue with the avocado. All right, and let's see what else we need here. We need vegetable glycerin. So this recipe calls for 4 tablespoons of vegetable glycerin.
Which is also a quarter cup.
Thank you so much, Sadie. It's also a quarter cup. So we're just going to fill up that quarter cup rather than doing 4 tablespoons. It's a lot easier just to dump that in. And it looks like we're going to need some more vegetable glycerin. Again, you want to make sure that it is food-grade vegetable glycerin. All right, vegetable glycerin has a lot of uses. And you don't just want cosmetic grade, you can use the food grade for your cosmetic uses. All right, so we've got our vegetable glycerin, we've got our almond milk. Sadie's finishing up with the avocado. And the last thing we need, or one of the last things, is a quarter cup of almond butter. So we're gonna grab that almond butter again. And if you prefer, you could try a different type of nut butter, maybe walnut butter, pecan butter, hazelnut butter. For gut health, you're going to want to stay away from peanuts and cashews. Those have funguses in them, and they can really wreak havoc on the gut. So we want to stay away from that. Oh, great. All right, do you need a little help? Or
yeah.
I'll wait till you know what, let's wait until you scoop it all, because you have one more to go. All right, so use your spatula so you can get as much of that glycerin and the almond butter in as possible. And then I'll help you once we're through here. Great.
Oh, I got it off.
You want to keep your work area as neat as you possibly can. The last ingredient I'm going to put in is cinnamon. Now, you can also add ginger. I did bring ginger with me today, so maybe we'll throw in some ginger as well. And again, a teaspoon is plenty. If you really like cinnamon, go ahead and add in more than 1 teaspoon. Terrific. Oh, there you go. Wonderful. And so that can go right in the garbage, and the spoon can go right in the sink. Thank you. All right, so we'll measure this off. And you want to be careful if you, like me, you're cooking with a computer on your counter. Just a reminder, don't take liquids over it. We were dealing with that at home, and we really want to make sure that you don't have things coming over your computer. I know that's pretty obvious, but we get excited. So I'm going to do 1½ teaspoons of the cinnamon. Could you please put the cap on? I'm going to do a teaspoon of ginger. Again, ginger has, I really like to smell things as I use them, so you can start to get used to those fragrances and see what sort of feelings you have about those different flavors that you're smelling. Sadie's going to come over and make sure that the top is on, and we're going to get loud here. Let's figure out which way does it go. All right, so we want to push that down, push it down. All right, and then you see the on-off? You can start low. Start to mix it up, right? And then go right to high. Great. So turn that off. We're going to just scrape down the sides a little bit, and if we find that we don't have enough liquid, if it's really too thick, we'll just add a little bit more of the almond milk. So I'm just going to scrape these sides down, make sure that the cinnamon is all in there and the ginger. Oh, this looks good. And when I feel it with the spatula, I can see we really aren't going to need any more liquid. So you don't want it to be too liquidy, otherwise it gets to be more like a shake than pudding. So I'm just going to mix that in. Hold on one second. And then, yep, go ahead. Can you fit that on there?
Almost.
All right, nice work. So again, you can press on, start roll, and with your blender, I'll wait a moment until we've got it off. Go to high. All right, terrific. So with your blender, you always want to start off low so that the blender can do the work to start to incorporate the ingredients. And once you do that, then you can put it up to high, once the blender's sort of broken down some of those things. Once you've gone ahead and done the blending, you're going to want to put the pudding into, we use ramekins or a little dish, so see what you have at home. You don't need to run out and buy fancy dishes for this, but what we'll do is we'll grab the ramekins, and I will close that out of the way now, and we'll take our spatula and we're going to scoop it right into these ramekins. The ramekins are great because they're a great serving size. They fit into the refrigerator really well. And you can take it out, and for a nice cold treat this hot summer, you could have a nice pudding. Now, you can flavor this any way that you choose. I choose the cinnamon and the ginger because, again, they create heat in the body. They help to kill off some of that bad bacteria that's inside of our gut, and we really want to get that balance going. Another great addition to the pudding, if you say, well, you know, I really like the dessert, but lots of people struggle with getting enough protein in, you could make this a protein pudding by simply adding a protein powder. And you might be saying, well, okay, but what's a gut-friendly protein powder? You could try a hemp protein powder. You can find those with just hemp in them. It's really a fantastic protein powder. I like to use egg white protein powder. There's lots of different brands out there, so you can go ahead and look that up online, or again, your local health food store. The egg whites make it really frothy. Another great gut-friendly protein powder would be a bone broth protein powder. That might not be great in a pudding, but the hemp or the egg whites certainly would work. How you doing there, Sadie?
Good.
And then you can make this look pretty if you want to. So we had a couple of ramekins, and you don't think we have enough for a third? Okay. And then we'll put these into the refrigerator because you want to refrigerate these. They'll set a little bit more than they are right out of the blender. And we'll pull out the ones that we already made that are already done. Sure. So how about if, as I finish that off, you can grab the pudding out of the fridge, and then we'll get these in. So with a blender, you got to really dig down in there to get the rest of the pudding out. You see the puddings in there?
Yep.
Now you can get it fancy and make it really nice and pretty, especially if you are a trained chef. I am not a trained chef. I am a nutrition expert and a fitness expert who loves to cook and loves to help people with gut-friendly recipes. So we pulled out our cinnamon, avocado, almond butter pudding, and you can see here those puddings right there. And so these are pretty big servings right here. So if you wanted to break those down a little bit further, you'd be able to do that. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And what we are going to do is grab our butter knife. And we can try and cut these Rice Krispie treats. Let's see how that goes. All right. So we've got these Rice Krispie treats. We've defrosted them a little bit. I'm simply using a butter knife to cut them. And we'll take a little square. Now remember, just because they're gut-friendly doesn't mean they're calorie-free. So you do want to enjoy your desserts, but you want to take the time to really not like eat the whole pan, and they're really delicious. But I'll pull these out so you can see what they look like. And I like to just cut them into little squares. There you go. And now there you've got your Rice Krispie treats. Oh, can we see those? We didn't make a... And we've got our puddings. And now, that way, when you're really cutting some things out of your meal plan and you're looking for those desserts, these desserts are a really great option to keep that gut healthy. So get creative, experiment with some different spices. Go ahead and get yourself some vegetable glycerin. Use your almond butter. You've got to open your mind, and you will have some absolutely delicious desserts. Thank you so much for joining us today. Sadie, I am thrilled that you came on the show. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Yeah? I had a lot of fun having you on the show. Are there any tips that you would give kids for cooking with us? I know I'm kind of throwing that question out to you.
Not really.
No? One thing I can think of is just get in the kitchen with your parents. Don't just sit out there and watch TV while they're cooking. Be brave, take risks, and get in there and help your parents to cook. And parents, pull those kids into the kitchen. The more involved they are with making these things, the more they're going to want to try them and eat them. And what's the worst thing that happens? Maybe you don't like what you made and you have to try something else. But check it out. Try some of these alternative ingredients. Lots of great things to keep your gut healthy. I know you can do it. And you can check out this episode on pegtv.com. Just go on to On Demand, and all of the shows will be right there. You can search 30 Minute Fitness with Amy Lewis, and this will pop up with your gut-friendly desserts. So thank you again for tuning in today. I had so much fun having you on the show, Sadie. Thank you again for coming on with me, and I'll look forward to lots of fun cooking with you.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. All right, great job. We'll see you next time. Thank you.